The reason that so many beginning and casual sports bettors fail at sports betting is because they don't have any type of strategy. Now, I'm not just talking about picking winners, but also when it comes to how much money they should be putting down per play, it's just always a random amount or whatever feels right. So in this video, I am going to share with you the 1-unit betting strategy. And while I primarily use the Kelly criterion method, this is a strategy that has worked for me time and time again, like here in January where I made almost $5,000. And then I went ahead and used it again in June and made almost $2,000. The 1-unit betting strategy compared to the Kelly criterion method is quite conservative, but it is battle tested, tried and true, yielding positive results anytime that I've went back to it. So sit back and take some notes as I share with you one of my favorite personal betting strategies. To set this up, we first need to figure out what our bankroll is, and that's the amount of money that we have set aside specifically for sports betting. So in this example, let's just say that my bankroll is $10,000. Well, 1% of $10,000 is $100, or 1 unit of our bankroll is $100. That is the first foundational piece. We need to figure out what 1 unit means to us. So now that we know that $100 is 1 unit, we can kind of go off and break down this strategy. Now, the second part to this is I do not execute this strategy unless I can find plays in the sports betting market that have some type of edge. That is a sharp play, and that's where OddsJam comes into play. Now, for this strategy, this is going to relate only to single or straight wagers, not to parlays, not to round robins. And when we're utilizing OddsJam, we're going to focus in on their positive expected value tool. Let's go ahead and set up our filters. Over here at the OddsJam positive expected value page, how this tool operates is it scans all of the sports books that I have accounts with and looks at the hundreds of thousands of different options that are available to wager on. And then it just tells us the plays that have the biggest discrepancies. They stand out from the pack. So guys, linked in the description will be a 1-week free trial to OddsJam, and then use my code Billy35 to save yourself 35% off your first month after the trial ends. For our minimum percentage, we want to set this at 1%, okay? A lot of great mainline plays like moneyline spreads and totals live in this 1 to 2% range, say for the NFL, the MLB, the NBA. Now, the next thing that we want to do is I'm just going to show you that I'm using Pinnacle as my DVIG book, and then I'm also using the DVIG method of the power or default. I also like to use the worst case or multiplicative. One of those 3 options is fantastic for this strategy. For our market width, we are going to leave our minimum market width blank. Our max market width is going to be at 40 cents. If you want to move this to 35 or 30, feel free to do so. Now, we just established that 1 unit is going to be $100. So for our first range of plays, this is going to be between minus 200 to minus 150. Everything is derived off of the no vig fair odds. We are only going to pay attention to this column right here. Now, if you're looking at probability, win probability and the no vig odds are married together, guys. It's a marriage. If I told you, hey man, I have odds at minus 197, spot 83, well, that means I have a 66.42% chance of winning this bet, which is the probability shown right here. Remember, when it comes to the no vig fair odds, we need to remove the vig from these sports books. That's how they make their profits, to find out what the fair price is. We are going to ignore the EV column. We're going to ignore the recommended bet size column. Remember, 1 unit to us is $100. So for this play on South Alabama first half money line in this odds range, we're going to wager 1 unit or $100. So we have this South Alabama first half money line play right here. We're going to use the one-click bet feature over at DraftKings. The play automatically pops up for us at minus 185 odds. We're going to wager $100 on this play right here. And this is where you're going to start to learn this betting strategy, as we have a 66% chance of winning this bet. That's the fair odds. So we want to make sure that we put a full unit on this play. Now, for our next range of odds, we're going to wager 90% of 1 unit, so $90 on plays that live in the minus 149 to minus 120 range. Now, currently, we don't see any plays available right now, but if any plays did pop up on this range, we would go ahead and wager 90% of 1 unit. And the biggest reason being is because back up here at the odds converter calculator, well, we know that minus 120 gives us a 54.55% chance. Up to minus 149 is almost a 60% chance. So we have a smaller chance or lesser chance of winning this play compared to those minus 150 to minus 200 plays, so we want to put a slightly less amount of money down per play. For our next range of odds, for minus 119 to plus 100, we are going to wager 80% of 1 unit on a play. So anything that lives in that minus 119 to plus 100 range, that gives us just over a 50% chance of winning our wager, as you can see all of these plays right here. And that's where we're going to want to make sure that we have some exposure, but we're not overly exposed. So we're looking here at Kevin Looney, under on his 14.5 points, rebounds, and assists in this Warriors Rockets game. Over at No Vig, we have $150 available for us to wager on. I'm going to go ahead and place an $80 wager right here. For plays that live in that plus 101 to 115 range, this is where we're going to go ahead and wager 70% of 1 unit on this play. So looking at Texas Tech versus Arkansas first quarter money line, again, we're wagering a bit less of our 1 unit because, well, we only have a 47.8% chance of winning this wager. But it's not just this Texas Tech play, guys. Any plays that fall into this category, as you could see right here, we want to wager 70% of 1 unit on these plays because everything is derived with this strategy based off of the No Vig fair odds or our fair win percentage. Now for plays that live in the plus 116 to plus 130 range, this is where we're going to go ahead and wager 60% of 1 unit on this play. So for Kevon Looney, we already bet his under points, rebounds, and assists. If we go ahead over to Caesars and bet his under 6.5 rebounds right here, we're going to go ahead, re-verify my location, and put 60% of our $100 or $60 on this play. And finally, any plays that live in the 131 to 150 range, that's where we're going to wager a half of 1 unit or 50%. So while these plays are underdogs, we want some exposure to them, but because our win probability is a lot less than, say, a play that lives in the minus 120 range, we want to make sure we bet appropriately. So for your odds range over at OddsJam, you can set this up for a minimum odds of minus 200 and your max odds of plus 150. This is the range that we're going to attack with this strategy. And again, depending on our fair odds that we're receiving right here and our win probability, that's how we're going to determine how much money we should wager on per play. If you found value in the content thus far, make sure to smash that subscribe button, click that thumbs up button, and also smash that bell notification so you don't miss the next video that we release. So that's the foundation and framework of this strategy. Now, depending on how aggressive or conservative you want to be, this is where you can tinker around with this. Maybe you don't want to go up to minus 200. Maybe you want to stay at minus 150. Or you don't want to go to plus 150. You just want to stay at plus 125s. Move the odds range around accordingly. Or if you want to wager a little bit more than 1 unit on this, maybe 1.5 units or 2 units at most, that's completely fine by me because in general, for straight wagers, you want to live between a 1 to 3% range of your bankroll on these plays. But solidify what 1 unit means to you and stick to that 90, 80, 70, 60 percentage rule once you figure out your own odds range. The biggest difference between this strategy and Kelly is that with the 1 unit betting strategy, we're sacrificing some EV for a more conservative approach when it comes to how much we're wagering per play. My last tip for you guys is to stick with this strategy for the entire month. Anybody can have a winning or losing day sports betting, but if you stay consistent and true with this strategy, you'll reap the benefits as you go further out the longer that you use it. With this strategy, we only touch on the positive EV tool over at OddsJam, and they have so many other tools that can help rake in the profits. Click this video right here that's going to walk you through the best side hustle in 2025.